Hello and welcome to my August pickups video. So these are all the books and bits and pieces that I picked up during the month of August 2021. And it was a pretty good month, all things considered. I didn't actually buy that much, to be honest, but I got sent some absolutely stonking stuff. So I'm looking forward to going through that with you today. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. So the first thing I got was a massive viewer donation from my Patreon, Chris Edwards, over in America. Now, Chris and his daughter Juliet were incredibly generous, and they pulled together a nice batch of missing Star Trek books that I was after. And I'm showing most of it here today, but it was a huge parcel of stuff, including some brilliant trading cards and just all manner of stuff, plus some stuff I bought in the States that Chris was able to send over to me. Now, I had no idea that Chris had so many Star Trek doubles. I think he said he's got about 800 doubles, as well as having pretty much everything that's ever been printed Star Trek book-wise. So he sent over, well, more than I was possibly expecting. So let's have a little look through them now. So we'll just go through them, see if any of these need anything sort of, any repairs doing on it, if they need any pencil marks rubbing out, any gluing, and then we'll, towards the end, give them a polish and get the dust off the tops of them, should there be any. And I doubt there'll be much from these books from Chris, because he's a real fan of keeping his own books in great condition. So this is one I haven't got, and I've got a fair old collection of comic book related paperbacks, but not this one. So this is, I think it's early 80s, 82, the copyright 83, the Superman story. And this is sort of comic strips in paperback form, which I absolutely love. And I've got maybe about 50 of these, but definitely not this particular one. So that was a good start. And as I said, Chris predominantly is a Star Trek fan, so he sent me this one, and some of these I just these are, in fact, even these are all doubles, because Chris himself got very lucky with some job lots, and he said these were doubles inside there. So this one here is the Star Trek book Typhoon Pact, which I don't think I've got, but it's been signed on the front there by is it Nicole de Burr, who played Dax after Terry Farrell left. Esri Dax. So that's good. She was the counsellor, wasn't she, on board ship? But that's signed on the front by her. I mean, how amazingly cool is that, for starters, you know? Absolutely lovely condition, that one. Here's another DS9 book. This is Wrath of the Prophets. This is in the numbered series, number 20. And this one is also signed. Look at this. So it says to John, sadly not to Jules. That would have been brilliant. But it's signed by all three authors, Peter David, Michael Jan Friedman, and Bob Greenberger. How amazing is that, eh? Triple signed by all three authors. I guess this guy must have met them at a convention or something like that. And when you think these are 20-year-old books, and these are virtually mint unread copies, I'm very, very pleased to be getting these, particularly for, as a donation. It's fantastic. DS9 18, Saratoga. Once again, look to John, keep on trekking, Michael Jan Friedman. And the good thing is, quite a few of these DS9 books I didn't actually have anyway. So that was super cool, because it was two birds with one stone, as it were. This is that unofficial series, The Best of Trek. And this is number 17, which I have a funny feeling might be the very last one. And then they did a couple of omnibuses, I seem to recall, which was the best of Trek 1 and 2, I think. I remember I did sell them in my shop back in the day, but these are really nice and quite difficult to find in the UK. So this one's the first from December 1994, and these are unofficial Star Trek fiction. So Chris sent me a few of these that I was missing. I had a few already. So here's number 16. Number 15, and they walk a very fine line, don't they, in this series, where they're not really allowed to say Star Trek, so they don't use images of like the Enterprise or Star Trek images per se, but inside they're I think it's pretty much fair game. Here's number 14. Really nice copies these as well. I'm so pleased to be able to fill these in because they're so difficult to find, as I said, in the UK. Great jackets on them, even if they're not Trek related. They're just sort of nice science fiction ones. I'm not sure who the cover artist is, but there's a chap, I'm trying to think of his name. I'm thinking like Ross or Moss. Alex Voss? Does that ring a bell? This one's actually signed Eddie Jones. This is the very first, the Best of Trek. And my copy of the first one was in a terrible state. So here it is, April 1978. It's the first edition. How cool is that? Another upgrade that Chris sent me was this one, which was the Ballantine Star Trek Log number 9. My copy's absolutely fallen to bits of this one. I mean, it literally is, the cover is almost off. And this one appears unread. First edition from February 77. I mean, that is gorgeous. So unbelievably pleased with that, Chris, I can't tell you. This is another one which I don't think had any UK distribution at all. And it's one of those weird sort of spin-offs. This is Archway, which, once again, I think is actually one of those junior imprints of Pocket. Yeah, an Archway paperback published by Pocket. So it's one of the, I think Archway was their teen imprint. And this is a Strange and Amazing Facts about Star Trek. Definitely Daniel Cohen, you might recognise him. He did another Trek book for Ballantine, didn't he? Or was it Letters to Trek? Oh, I can't remember now. But he'd definitely done another Trek book in the past. And that one never had any British release at all. So that's really nice. And another one, possibly the last Trek one to look at today, was one of the Giant novels. So these were standalone Star Trek novels, which weren't part of Pocket's numbered book series. This is by Diane Carey, Final Frontier. And I think these are quite tough to find. They've got that lovely sort of die-cut cover, they call it, don't they? Look at the artwork underneath. It's really nice, that. January 1988. Big old thick one. This is 430 pages. And for a first edition, I mean, that's obviously never been read. Look at it. It's perfect, isn't it? Amazing. So literally none of those need anything beyond, they've had their cursory inspection, and none of them didn't need any repair work in the slightest way. So, but what I will do in a moment, once we finish going through all the paperbacks, or at least half the paperbacks, I shall do the top edges, and I'll give them just a little shine up with my polish. So on to a few other series now. So this was Stamboul Train by Graham Greene. Now, this was twofold a goodie. The first part was because it was a main series Penguin, and it's number 1898. But it's one that I didn't already own in my collection. And as you can see, it's a particularly minty copy, this one. And what's special about this one is it was an advanced copy. So there we are at Stamboul Train, and then the series number 1898. The enclosed book will be published by Penguin Books on the 28th of March 1963. And on the spine there, look, 28 and then a 3 on. Quite interesting. I think that I may have one other one with a review slip in, but that's pretty rare to get that. And it was doubly good because it was a Graham Greene that I didn't actually own, and he's a great author. And I am planning to do a Graham Greene special quite soon in vintage paperback, because Pan had all his early ones and then Penguin had him later on. Now this is another big Pan, one that I've been after for ages. It's number H2, and H were one of the massive series that, not in number, but massive in size, that Pan put out. And the H series, I forget how much, 12 and 6, that was the price point for this. And this is a particularly difficult book to find at all, particularly in nice condition. So I've been after a reasonably nice copy of one of these for about a year, and I finally found one, which only cost me about £5 or so, including the postage, which wasn't bad, but very difficult, tough book to find, that one. Once again, it looks all right. I think it's just going to be the cursory across the top there where it might have picked up some dust. Apart from that, I can't see any sort of dirt on it, which is good news. Another nice penguin here, and this is a Penguin Modern Classic, Francois Mauriac, The Unknown Sea. Now this is interesting. So that's where the penguin logo is, and they've got Nassau price. So I guess that's in Egypt, isn't it? So Penguin 1834. So this has been exported over to Egypt. Then look, the previous owner was T.J. Atkins, Little House Antiques in Somerset. But at some point, this has been all the way over to Egypt. Maybe someone bought it over there. Maybe they were on holiday and brought it back. But it's another quite an early example of a Penguin Modern Classic, which is a series I love. And there's a rather interesting new book coming out on the Penguin Modern Classics this year, before the year is out. And I'll put a link to that down below if you'd like to be taken to the Amazon page to place a pre-order, which is what I've done, because it's going to be looking at all the 600 Penguin Modern Classics, which is going to be fantastic, and I will be doing a video on that for sure. Another little pan that I've not got, X104. It's the Red Barbarians, and it's the Life and Times of Mao Zedong. A Panjai, illustrated one, in really nice condition, this one. And picked him up for just 99p, 1961. Another nice little pan that I've not got. This was good. It's the most boring penguin series in the world, next to Penguin New Biology. So Penguin Science News, number 46. This finishes the series. So I had a huge batch of Science News and New Biology titles, but I was missing one or two from each one, and this was the last Science News I needed. So that finishes that set, which is great news. I'm very pleased to finish that one. Once again, these books have been such good condition, I've not needed to do anything to them. It's just incredible. What's this? This was something I've had out recently, and this is a video that you would have possibly seen on my channel recently, and that is, I got a penguin bookcase, a bookshelf, that one there with the legs on, and I've cleaned it, and I've replaced the label that comes on the back of it, and it's come up blimmin' lovely. So I shall link to that video right now, so you can all go and have a look, because it's brilliant. Now, the next thing I got, let's get this one out of the way as well. This is something that not book related. This is a cheeky little penguin. Look at this, Best Wishes. And it's got the Penguin Books logo down the bottom. And as you can see there, it's Royal Doulton, the famous porcelain manufacturers. Now, I think from memory, this was given out to booksellers for Penguin's, I'm tempted to say, Penguin's 40th anniversary, which was 1975. These I've seen sell for over £100 a pop, but I've sort of, been on the lookout for one for maybe a year or two at a slightly better price than that. And if you're lucky, you'll be able to get one of these the same price I did. The chap I bought them off is a Royal Doulton dealer, and he's got 5, and they're all brand new, £25 each. So I bought one of them, so he's got 4 left. I would imagine if you're quick watching this video, you'll be able to find them online, but I bought one. £25 for that is very good value, and they are mint, absolutely mint, and the packaging of it was superb. So yeah, brilliant stuff. So something else that Chris sent over from America for me. This is a Western series, Captain Gringo, Renegade, Ramsey Thorne, and they're sort of westerns, adult westerns, you could say. They're no holds barred, quite grisly and gory, but a lot of fun. They're not particularly big, thick books on the whole. Some of them are a bit longer than others, but this is a typical example, and they are what I would call a rollicking good read. And on one of the Facebook groups, the Men's Adventure Facebook group, a chap had come across a batch of these, and he said, anyone want these? And thankfully he pulled out all the numbers that I was missing, so it's left me needing just about 4 for the full set. So we'll go through the ones that I got in that parcel, and once again, apart from a cursory little polish, which I think it will do wonders on these, we haven't even had a single book that's needed a price rubbed out so far. Talk about lucky. I've never known a month where I've had so little to do. This is a thicker one, number 4 here. And once I've finished the set of these Renegade books, I will do a review of the entire series. Before that, I will definitely be doing the Edge books, and I still need just one Edge book for the set, which is number 60. So if anyone happens to have Edge number 60, please get in touch, because I'd like one at a fairly reasonable price. There's one of the later ones. So I think on these, the later books are the scarcer ones. But thankfully, I've done quite well. I've got pretty much all the later ones. It's just a few odd ones here and there just to finish the series off. They're brilliant, aren't they? Great jackets as well. So it's been a fairly busy month, August. Boy had his 15th birthday. Wife had her birthday. My dad had his birthday. So a lot of birthdays. Had a little bit of time off work, just a few days to go away for a short time, just a couple of days within the UK. We were hoping to get over to Greece later this year, but that's sadly not going to happen. I believe that might be the last one in the series now. I think it's quite scarce, that one. Yeah, we were hoping to go to Greece, but sadly that's now not going to happen, because Greece, as we sit, are currently still on amber, and we don't want to take the chance of getting caught over there. I think it's far safer just to stay put. Yeah, 22, a couple more of these. 24. So apart from this lot, I bought a really nice batch of cartoon books, which we'll have a look at in a minute. But I have got just a handful more penguins that I bought. This is number 21. Honestly, I cannot believe every single book is just fantastic condition. I've been so lucky this time round. Let's just make a little bit of room here for that, ready for the next lot to come in. I'll leave my cheeky penguin over there. So I had a small batch of books from Drew. Now Drew is a dealer of vintage penguins, and on Instagram he calls himself the Penguin Chap. There we are. And very friendly chap. And on he's got a website which you can go and visit, and he's always got some interesting stock. And importantly, he's not overly expensive, so you can find a few bargains there. So I had 3 books off him. So I got a couple of these nice, quite funky pelicans that I didn't have. Now on the pelicans, I'm trying to get the first 500 as a complete run. Maybe I'll go up to 600, and after that I've got sort of a patchy collection. But I don't need that many to finish that first run of 600. And this is number 498 and 499, and they're really quite nice, very much of their time. Excellent condition. 1963. Now there is a name inside, but it's a name in fountain pen. It's ink, which I can't rub out. And the same for this one. So they were owned by the same person, which makes perfect sense, doesn't it? So they're okay. Now, I was delighted. Oh, one other I got from Drew, which was this one, which was this Penguin Special Plan for Economic Development for India. Now you see it's almost a pamphlet, and this was pretty much the last numbered penguin that I need. I think there might be one in the 230s, and then there's a couple of ISBN issues, but this is particularly rare. So I'm delighted to get this last numbered one off my wants list. And as you can see, it's only 50 pages, which probably makes it, it's probably why it's so scarce. So that was good to finish that series. Then I finished another series, which I'm even more delighted about, and that's this one. Now this is the King Penguin Book of British Shells. And this was the very last King Penguin I needed. And it was King Penguin number 6. So, although it's not in top condition, because it was the last one I wanted, I just plunked for it, and in the end it cost me a £5, so I can't really complain. Now it does, however, have the top of the spine needing a bit of repair there, You see that? It's very, very small, but if I could get a bit of glue in at the top of the spine and just sort of push that down, I think it would be worth doing. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll do, I think, you know. It's a bit of a tricky one. But I think that's probably what. It never came with a dust wrapper. I think it's about all I can do until I come across another one. But considering this was the last one I needed, I don't think they're that common. So I think, yeah, just a tiny bit of glue in there will be what's required. So let's go and grab that. So I've gone and got my trusty Mr. Pritt stick, and I'm just going to pop a tiny little bit on the end here. Just enough to slip into the top of this spine. So we can hopefully stop it getting any worse. There we are. It's not perfect, but it will just do, just to hopefully keep it pushed in for the time being. Wasn't a lot for the glue to stick on, to be honest, but anyway, the king penguin's finished. So what that does mean, of course, is I can finally cover them without having to show any books that are missing. So I think because the king penguins, it's 76 books and there's quite a bit of history to them. I'm going to do that in 2 videos. So look for a king penguin video. Next month is going to be the first one in the I think 2 books, 2 videos, maybe 3. There's a lot to say about the king penguins. This is a king, but the copy that I had of the Book of Clocks, Book of English Clocks, wasn't that good. And I always thought this was a tough one to get, but in actual fact, it's not really. So I picked up a replacement copy, and that's what this one is here. And it's far, far better than the one that's currently in my collection. And this one really doesn't need anything by the look of it. 1947. I mean, it's got some foxing and stuff, but particularly the spine on the one that I've got is in a terrible old state. So yeah, very pleased to get that one, and it wasn't difficult to get either. So next thing we've got then is this. So this is Battling Britons. Now this is a new fanzine, and it says the fanzine for readers and collectors of vintage British war comics, Battling Britons, Volume 2, Issue 1. And this looks at the classic British war comics, and this has just arrived. So in the last sort of week or so, I've received this from filming. So I thought I'd just give you the heads up to let you know that it's out. It's from fanzine publisher Justin Marriott, and Justin, as you know, publishes all manner of paperback related fanzines, and these are easily available on Amazon. So just go onto there and pop in Battling Britons and you'll find this one. I think it was about £5, really good value for money. And if you like the odd war comic, then you're going to do very well with this. It certainly looks great. I can't wait to tuck into that one. So this is something you don't see every day. Now, a little while back, I did have a video on my channel, and it showed my original Penguin book protection. Yeah, book covers, plastic book covers. Now, one of my supporters, been watching the channel for a long, long time, a lady called Flavia over in Australia. She messaged me through the Facebook group, and she said, Jules, I think I've got some of those penguin related book covers and didn't really know what to do with them. And she noticed that I was definitely after some different ones, because you remember in a video just a couple of pickup videos back, I had a red one of these which I hadn't got, and now, well, she sent me a little collection of them, so I really can't believe it. So thank you, Flavia. So these are like plastic, and then they've got the penguin logo embossed on the front, the classic penguin logo, and you'd sort of slip your book inside like that into there. So there's that green one there, and then you've got the blue coloured one which would have, I guess, fitted biography titles. And I think these ones were sort of 50s and 60s. And then these ones here are clear. So there's 5 clear ones, 6 clear ones even, and they've all got the penguin logo over there. And I remember these ones as a kid, and I wouldn't just use them for penguins, it would be for any or all paperbacks. And they just sort of slide your book in there, and you could see the covers. And then you've got this one, which is a real, well, this is quite a revelation. Anyone know anything about this? So look at this. You can even see where the book would have been, tucked in like that. Pick up a penguin at the Times. Pick up a penguin at Times, the bookshop. So I asked Flavia about this because she's in Australia. I wondered what it was. And she said to me that she suspects that this branded one is from Singapore, as Times is the name of a significant and upmarket English language chain of bookshops that are in Singapore. So that's her suspicion. She says she picked it up herself, wrapped around a discardable book in an old wares shop in a small town in regional New South Wales, which is in Australia. So if it was Singapore, it made its way to Australia, and then Flavia sent it to me. I mean, how amazing is that? Now, you'll see this one. I don't know if you can see it, but there's some sort of brown sort of wear and tear on, not wear, but wear and tear. And under there you see, you can sort of see where it's sort of picked up dirt over the years, where it would have had like Flavia says, a really old book wrapped around it. So what I'm going to do with all of these, because they're plastic, they're dead easy to clean with just some hot soapy water. So I am going to go and clean those now, and then I will film them once they've been cleaned, and I'll just put a little insert into this video around now with these looking lovely and clean. So the last batch of books we're going to be looking at today are a huge pile of books by Johnny Hart. Now these are British Coronet editions, and Johnny Hart was an American cartoonist, and Brant Parker was predominantly the writer. And they had 2 big series. They had The Wizard of Id and BC. And in the UK, a bit like the Peanuts books, they were published by Coronet, a big C in the corner there, and they numbered them. You see they're numbered on the spine? And I was very, very lucky to pick up from a charity 2 batches of these books, very, very reasonably priced. I mean, literally like 50p a book sort of is what I've paid for these. Once again, they've turned up in phenomenally nice condition. I honestly couldn't believe it when I was unpacking them. So we're going to have a look through these, and we'll just double check that they don't need any sort of additional work, because I've only had a very brief look at these. I've pulled a couple and read them because they are super, super quick, aren't they? They're quick reads, these. But they're great fun. Absolutely great fun, these. I think they make... don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Charlie Brown, Peanuts, Charles Schulz. They will be forever my favourite cartoon strips. But these are up there with the ones that I really enjoy. Hagar the Horrible is another one I particularly like. Which other ones do I like? In the UK, The Perishing Kids, and Fred Bassett. That's probably of this sort of strip, where they're like 3 or 4 panels, and then possibly a Sunday now and again. So this one's got a few turned over corners. They're probably my favourites. And if you've never read these, they are great. This one's interesting. I remember this one. So this is Life is a 50p paperback, and in the States I think it was released as Life is a 50c paperback. And as the book got reprinted, they changed the title. So a later edition of this would be Life is a 75p paperback. So the cover price of this one was 50p at the time. So that's why the title is Life is a 50p paperback. Yeah, this was the first from 1977. Quite expensive for back then. As I said, they are a mixture of BC and Wizard of Id titles. I think there may be one or two other odd ones. But, these, like the Mad books, are just brilliant. Just brilliant. I know these were far scarcer and harder to come across than the Peanuts books back in the day. So whoever bought these must have really searched them out, But I haven't even checked to see if there's any missing or anything. I just picked them up in a job lot. I thought, well, I'll give them a clean in my monthly pickup videos. And then we'll just, then I'll do a little inventory of them. So this one's £1.50. It's book number 24, but still a first from 1985. BC, Furiously Folkish. But on the whole, apart from a few turned over pages, they've very nice condition. This one's got a little bit of cover wear, which once we give these a light polish, they'll come up very nicely. I'd be interested to know which cartoon series you like. There is another great service which sadly has become a paid service now, but it used to be free, and it's called Go Comics. I don't know if you've ever come across it, but what you do, you go to Go Comics and you can try it for a month for free, but you'll probably get hooked. And you select all the cartoon strips that you ever liked and you would like to read today. And there's lots of modern ones as well as classic ones. And they go right the way back to, since there's been comic strips, up to the present day. And you make a little tick box of all the ones that you like. And then once a day, Go Comics will email you your own curated page of comic strips down on your computer screen. You just read them in. So if you're in work, you can get it to be set to be delivered once a day to you. And it's a really cool way of keeping up and having a bit of downtime at your computer just by reading your comic strips. It's brilliant. So that website's called Go Comics. But as I said, it used to be free, but now it's a premium one. Take a bow, BC. As I said, there's quite a few of them. We're over halfway there now. It's a Wizard of Id. I don't know what I prefer. Wizard of Id. Sometimes it's Wizard of Id, sometimes it's BC. Pull the last stack over now. I said on the whole, these have probably been bought from brand new, read once or twice, and then they've just been popped in the pile. So these are really nice copies, and certainly very pleased to get them. And I think they were offered by like the British Heart Foundation, somebody like that, one of the charities that sell online. And I picked them up off them. I said they worked out real cheap, so I was very pleased. So as we work our way through these, then I'm just trying to think what else has been happening. So not a massive amount. I've not bought a lot of stuff, to be honest. The Penguin bookcase was like my main purchase of the month, and I was delighted to get one of those. A bit of wear on that one. I have been sort of in amongst the books in the collection, and I've been doing a little bit of reorganising because the sort of penguins that I've got that I'm trying to pick up now, because I've got the first 1,000 licked pretty much, bar a handful. I'm trying to move on to the second and third thousands now. So I've made room for expansion. Not just that, because I've now got a dedicated Penguin bookcase, I've taken out some of the minor series from my main Penguin collection, like the King Penguins and some of my very short run series, and I put them on the Penguin bookcase. So what that's meant is it's created some more room in my main Penguin book collection. So I've got space to spread out as I pick up some more Penguins numbered from 1,000 to 3,000, of which there are many, and there's going to be, it's a series I'll never complete, but certainly that period, because I'm also quite fussy with condition on these later ones. I want them to be as nice as possible. 73, that one, number 5. So it was spent most of yesterday going through and having a huge shunting session, is what they're called, where you just move all your books along, and it was great just to keep on top of it. There's a few other series that now that I've come to the stage where I'm getting quite low on the amount of penguins to collect, I just haven't got that much left to get. I'm going to try and concentrate on a few series that I've maybe neglected a little bit, like the Buildings of England and the Penguin Guides and a few others like that. The Penguin Handbooks, there's a lot of cool stuff in that. I wouldn't mind finishing the Penguin Poetry. So things like that. I'm going to sort of concentrate on those sort of more minor series going forward. Here is the one and only edition of Croc, which is not in the same series as The Wizard of Id and BC, but it is the same writer, Croc, and obviously published by Coronet. It's numbered again, number 1 there. First one in the series. Dear cartoon lovers, there we are, look. When did this one get published? 1979. Like a foreign legionary. Back to more Wizard of Id. They are great. My favourite character in there is the King. He's hilarious. So there was a lot, wasn't there? We're almost at the end now. Excellent stuff, last little batch. And then I'm going to get these systematically cleaned, and we're going to get those tops, because the tops of these do need a bit of, they've picked up some dust, sadly. But that's absolutely normal for books, 40, even these are 40 plus years old, even though they look almost new. So, see, there's like, there was probably a sticker on that one of some sort, but nothing that we can't polish out. Same on the back there. That'll come up lovely. And these books will be virtually new. And there's the last one there. I dig freedom. So there we are. So that's all the books we're going to look at today. So I'm just going to pause there. I'm going to make us a bit more room, and we're going to get polishing and we're going to get dusting. Okay then, so I've cleared the decks, as it were, and I've got all the books ready in big piles to get processed. So we'll start with this one. Now I've grabbed my Mr. Sheen furniture polish, and I give that one a good shake, and then on my soft cloth I'm just going to pop a little bit in the corner. Now, to be honest, this book here, in fact, only a few of these actually need a bit of a polish, but I'm just going to do it anyway, because as we've seen in the past, sometimes the actual dirt can be almost invisible, and you don't really see it with the naked eye, but when you actually clean the book, you think, wow, I didn't realise there was so much on there. So we'll just see if that's the case with this one. So I've only put a tiny little bit of polish on just to get the ball rolling. But over time, the duster will become impregnated with the polish, and you won't need to keep topping it up. Just make sure you're not rubbing dirt onto more dirt. So even that book, which looked mint, you can see a little bit of dirt that it's picked up, but it's just made it perfect now. So we'll get a few of those together, and then I'll rub the toothbrush along the top just to get any surface dust off, and then they'll be ready to be added to my collection. I'll just obviously add them to my wants list, so take them off my wants list rather. So that's something I've not really discussed on the channel yet, but it's how do you keep a track of which books you need and which books you've already got. So I find the easiest way, so say it's something like those Renegade books, it's really easy because they're all numbered. So you can just say, oh, I need numbers 5, 6, 12 or whatever. On the Penguin side, for example, because on the first 1,000, I think I need about 7 now. I've got a Google Drive and I've got the 7 books that I need with their titles and series number when they were published. So if I'm out and about or if I come across one online, I know all the pertinent details to make an informed decision. I've also got a small batch of books which in that Penguin run that actually need I need to upgrade. I get better copies of in time. I've got them, they're filling the hole in the collection, but potentially if a nice one came along, I would upgrade it, for the right price. So for those ones, I've actually got a picture of the substandard copy in my collection, ready to compare if another one was to come along, which is also quite handy, and I found that very, very useful to do. But on all of these, all my book wants lists, and then I've got like basically a Google Drive folder, and in that Google Drive folder is another folder called Books, and inside that are all the different series, either by publisher or by series, that I collect. Loads come off that one. That's come out very nice. And that seems to be the way to do it. So when I'm out and about, because I've almost certainly got my phone on me, I'll be able to access my Google Drive as long as I've got a signal, and I can look up. So if I'm out and about in a bookshop, I can just look up if I've got that book or not there and then on the spot, and it's just brilliant. It's just the way to have it. I think nowadays you need instant cloud access, and that's how I do it. So I'll probably do a little bit more in depth on that in possibly another video, because I think it'd be really interesting. But I'd like to know how you guys do it. I mean, back in the day, when I collected comics regularly and I went to the comic shows, I'd have a little book and I'd be ticking them off as I got them, the numbers of the comic. But I remember I was at a Penguin collector's show run by the Penguin Society years and years ago. And back then a guy had a digital, like a Palm Pilot, and I sort of looked over his shoulder, and every single book that was in his collection he had scanned, and he could call up a picture of it so he could compare how good the copies were. And I was absolutely amazed by that. Wow, there's me with my crumpled bit of paper and a biro ticking off the numbers as I was getting them. And this guy it was another world. And I thought, wow, that is the way to do it. If you're really serious and you're just sort of collecting the one sort of publisher, that is definitely the way to go. So that's what he did. But I mean, I always remember being super impressed by that. I tell you, the other thing I remember about that particular Penguin show was that there was lots of Penguin collectors there and sort of amateur dealers, and in one of the dealers' boxes they had a 50p box below, and I picked up at that particular show the Pan first edition of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is a copy sold recently for £1,500. God, look at that. Yeah, £1,500 that went for, and I picked one up at that Penguin show that we just mentioned for 50p. Amazing, eh? So yeah, that spine on this one was particularly dirty because it really came up incredible, and that is a combination of dirt and smoke, so nicotine that's been in the room. Someone smoked in the room, and it's like sort of sat on there, possibly back in the 60s, I mean, and 70s. People smoked a hell of a lot more back then, so it would leave their mark. On the earlier penguins, sort of the ones from the 30s and 40s and sometimes 50s, it was soot from the soot coal. You'd have your coal in the corner, wouldn't you? Right. These other penguins don't need any polishing because they are already, they're sort of buff, as it were. So I'm going to just carefully then do a little bit of in fact, these ones here, I can't even do it at the same time because they're slightly irregular sizes. But I'm just going to get my toothbrush in there. Not a great deal I can do on that one. This was a bit dirtier, but as I said, although it's a bit spotty on the outside, it was only £3.50, which isn't bad for this one. And I remember the first one I ever saw was £12, and I couldn't believe it. I thought, to the guy who was in a second-hand bookshop, I said, why is that one so expensive? Oh, it's rare, mate. I was like, oh, okay, if you say so. Left it behind, I voted with my feet. So these two are slightly taller. And that economic development of India is quite early core. I saw a little plume of dust come off there, actually. I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but wow, quite a bit came off those two, but that's good. It's funny, when I moved the rest of my, I had a big shunting session at the weekend. I looked at some of the stuff that I've had literally for decades, and I thought, this needs to go through the process. I need to get these books out and clean them. So I don't know what to do, whether I should go through the entire collection and just pull out books that are, that I've had for years and they just need checking over to get them up to scratch. These ones here, in actual fact, are absolutely beautiful for their age. They are really nice tight copies. They're not mint, but they're really nice, considering one was 1963. So 58 years old, those. Now, I have got an idea for a really great video, which I'll run by you now, because I was telling the wife about it. Because as I was going through the books, I came across this one book from 1960. It was a penguin book. And when I say it was mint, I mean it could have been like printed yesterday. It was pristine. The pages were really white. You couldn't believe it was 60 years old. And I've got a few books like that. I've got some pans like that look like they were made yesterday. I've even got some early penguins from the 1930s that are like mint like that. So what I thought would be quite fun is a bit of like a Back to the Future episode where the books it's like they've been in a time machine and they're just as if they've just been printed, because they do exist. And it's really something when you look at it and you think, well, how on earth have they survived like that? Because, well, I don't know, but I've got a handful of books like that, which I'm going to dig them out because I think you'll be just amazed, what they look like. It's just incredible. That's the first sort of little pile all done, and all of that's come up really nicely, so I'm very pleased with that. And I've only got about 5 piles to do. So what I shall do is get those over there for now, and we'll do these Renegade books. So that's these ones here. I'll do this pile number 2. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that the first 2 Renegade books were released in the UK, not as British editions, they were imports still, but they did get British distribution, as often American books did if there was no British edition. So you see books 1 and 2 turn up quite often over here, although they're usually hammered. So I'd say the copies that were released or imported sold and did the rounds. So they probably could have done more, but for whatever reason, the British market was deemed not worthy. So that's probably why you don't find these in Britain anymore, and they don't appear on eBay UK at all, except the first 2. A bit like the Casca books. Over here we had Casca books 1 to 3, had actual UK editions with different jackets. After that, the only editions you could find are imports. And certainly in the 90s when I had my shop, I made a point of importing as many Casca books as I could from the original Sadler run into my store, because I had a little, I wouldn't say a small army, but it had its loyal fans, shall we say, who were well into it, and they would buy anything I could get my hands on, because it was so difficult to get books from the States back then into the UK. But I dealt with a couple of people who would import the books for us, predominantly out of Canada, in actual fact, rather than the States, although we did get some stuff from America, and I would send over British books, in exchange. So that was how I was getting the USA editions over. It wasn't buying them per se or importing them from an importer, not until that happened a bit later. But temporarily we were just trading them, because these books weren't new, you see, so they had gone out of print. Although the Casca books did get a little revival. But these only ever had, in a lot of cases, I believe, just the one printing, and then they were done. So in the last month we've had, well, not the last month, the month before, I don't know if you recall, but I got featured on a ASMR channel where they did a little compilation of my Star Wars cleaning videos, and that brought a lot of people to the channel who were checking me out, and the subscribers, I was getting about 1,000 subscribers a month, which all happened simultaneously with me hitting 10,000 subs. So if you are watching this and you're fairly new to the channel, welcome, and there's a big back catalogue for you to work your way through. Over 450 videos now, but that includes all my little shorts as well, and they're just a bit of fun that I'm putting up. Incidentally, I have popped a short up. I put 2 shorts up a week, on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and my main videos on a Monday, a Wednesday and a Friday. So you can always see a brand new short on a Tuesday or Thursday, and they're all book related. I'm sort of keeping to that for the time being on my shorts. And if you do want to see the shorts early, because I can only put 2 up a week, I'm generally doing slightly more than that over on TikTok, where I'm putting up maybe 3 a week. So if you want to get slightly ahead of what's here on YouTube, you can go over and find me on TikTok. The videos are pretty much the same, except the music is different, because over on TikTok I can include copyrighted music. You're allowed to do that. They encourage it because the artists actually get a cut, which is brilliant, isn't it? So I'm over there as like Jules, Burt, UK, all one word, and you can easily find me. Now, I have had in the last month a video go viral on TikTok. It's had over 10,000 views and over 1,000 likes and about 100 comments. It went a bit mental, and you can guess what it was on. Casca. So it was on, I just did a little video showing the first sort of 10 Casca books in the series, a little history of the chap, and it went down rather well. He's such a huge following for those books. So I've done a couple of other follow-up videos, but anyway, they'll be they're over on TikTok. So yeah, just search Jules Burt UK over on there, and I'm amazed what I've been finding on TikTok. There's so much in the sort of adult education space. So the sort of channels I've been watching, or sort of people I follow are, there's people who do old TV shows. They put like the theme tunes and the title sequences. I've been enjoying those. There's people who do some pop stuff, which I've been enjoying as well. Then there's other ones. There's another very good one called Then and Now, where they look at old, say, London pictures or pictures in and around London, and then they look and see how they are today. Good stuff. There's lots of content on TikTok, and I never ever thought that I would be getting so much out of it than I am. I'm on there predominantly because it's a different sort of audience than I've got here on YouTube, and I'm hoping that people will see some of the content that I'm putting on TikTok, and it will drive them to the channel. So that's really what I'm doing it. YouTube is my main thing, and it always will be. But if I can get as many people to this channel, the better, really. And if TikTok is where some of the eyes are, which it definitely is, then I need to be on it, really. That's the same with Instagram and Twitter and all the rest of it. It is what it is. So that's been going along apace. Now, one thing I have been thinking is I've been really trying to up my game video-wise, and sometimes it's quite tricky to get 3 videos a week out. So I am thinking I might drop one of my longer videos and just do 2 a week, just temporarily, until I can get the studio built, when it will be a doddle to get these videos filmed a bit quicker. So if that happens, there'll still be other short form content like shorts and stuff to fill the gap. So there'll be plenty of stuff coming out, but maybe just I want to up my game and get the videos looking as good as possible and sounding as good as possible. So let's get these little fellas brushed off. There's not too much dust on them. Not a lot coming off here. But there was certainly, they've come up much cleaner than they were. So that is book stack number 2. And we've got just 3 more to go. So I'm just going to have a little pause there. I get these rearranged, and we'll get on to the first lot of the cartoon books. Right then, I've reset the camera. I give it another little squirt there. And we'll do a little one of the piles of the BC and Wizard of Id. Now this is the one which was particularly dirty, do you remember? So I'm hoping that this is going to just lift it off, and it is. Yeah, it's coming off lovely. So let me turn it around so you can see a better angle. So you see that mess on the logo there, and that's exactly as I expected it to come up. There's a little bit on the spine, wasn't there? So again, that's come up nice as well. So let's have a closer look at this. So what we're looking to do is, let me just focus in really tight on this. This sort of muck, I don't know what it is, but it's just in the top sort of right corner. And if you rub your finger over it, you can almost feel it's raised. It's like some sort of muck. So because this is a shiny cover, I could actually spray the polish straight on it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pop it onto my cloth, which has already got some polish on it anyway. And if I just dab it on, hopefully you can see that muck is just vanishing. You see that? So I've done that mid-air, so I've not put that much pressure on. But you see, it didn't take a lot to get rid of that muck. So now I'll just go on and I'll do what I would usually do, and do it with a bit more force. And that is the wonder of this Mr. Sheen. It's just incredible, really, you know. There's obviously a little bit of cleaning agent in there, which is perfect for books which have got a glossy covers like these ones. So that's now come up lovely, hasn't it? Much better than what it was, which looked like it must have been an old sticker or something like that, you know. But thankfully, most of these aren't anywhere near like that. They just need a cursory clean, although that one, once again, and a little bit of sticker, and it's probably just the old shop sticker or something like that, which has been pulled off. But as expected, these are coming up really nice, and I thought they probably would. Yeah, so going back to what we were talking about then, so the studio is very much priority number one, I think, now. So thankfully, Patreon and channel memberships are doing great, and they're definitely helping towards me get to my monetary goal, because as you can imagine, I'm having to level some of the garden and then get builders in to actually build the property. Then I'm going to need money to get the place with power. So it's all set to go. It's up as far as the garden, but it's going to need power and then lighting to be fitted. I'm going to need to buy some new microphones that I can have permanently set up so that they'll be dangling once. So they'll go, unlike my current microphone, because I have had people say, I've been watching your latest videos and I listen to them with my headset on, and the audio rather is to your left, and it is. That's because, as you see it here, the microphone is just there. So if I just pour it in like that, that's where it is, and it's as close to my face while I'm doing this as possible. There is no other way to do this sort of video without having a microphone just up there, sort of suspended over. And I just can't do that where I'm filming these videos at the moment. However, once I get that studio, it's going to be a doddle, and I'll be able to be filming, and I reckon I'm going to be producing even more videos for you. And at that point, we will then systematically, I think, go through my entire book collection and all these old ones, stuff that I've had for decades, which is still got bookseller stamps and things like that inside. I'm going to have to get the whole lot cleaned and processed. So that is that's the initial aim, and hopefully, I'll keep picking up new subscribers and make my way slowly but surely up to the next mini milestone, which will be 15,000. So as I film this, I think I just hit 12,300, so incredible really, but it is slowing down since the extra attention I received from being on that ASMR channel. That particular audience have found me now, and I'm not getting quite as many views a day as I was. But apart from that, of course, in the UK, the economy is fully open again now, almost unregulated. So people who are at home on furlough with not a lot else to do, and there's no lockdown, we're completely open here in the UK, so we are very lucky. So it's meant that my actual views have gone down. But on the other side, from YouTube, advertisers are now paying more because people are going out again. So I'm not worse off financially. It's stayed about the same, which is great news, isn't it? Even though not so many people are watching the videos, but it's because the people who are watching it are like a targeted audience, and the advertisers are paying for that audience to see their adverts, so they're paying more, which is good news for me, because I don't want it to be going in reverse. Although the nature of YouTube is it's very much fluctuates up and down, and I'm ready for that. So at the moment I'm in a bit of a decline, but it's still going great guns, so don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. In fact, if anything, I'm struggling to produce the content as quickly as I'd like to, because there's so much out there. So I've pretty much got all my videos planned up to the end of November, if you can believe it. So when something comes out that I want to review, it means everything else gets shuffled down a few pages, or a few spots in the calendar, which has meant that some things that are just going live this month, I filmed 2 months ago, and only now are they getting to see the light of day. But that's just the way it goes. I'm not a machine, and I can't knock the videos out 5 days a week, sadly. I'd love to, of course, but sadly I have got another job. Else I probably would. If this was just my job and I was just doing YouTube, I would try and do a video a day, or 5 a week in total. And in effect, I am actually doing that. If you include 2 shorts a week, I am actually doing 5 a day. So, what more do you want? Blood? this pile's going on a bit, but we're getting there. We're getting there. It's because the books are so thin, aren't they? That there's more of them to clean. The Star Trek pile won't be anything like as bad because the books are much thicker. So let's think, what else has been happening? So yeah, once again, I've got to thank Chris for his incredible donation. Really, really great. So thank you, Chris, for that. And Flavia for the penguin book jackets. How cool is that? I am still after, if someone else has got these, I'd be willing to, pay good money for the cloth bound penguin book protectors that got released in the 1930s, the late 1930s. I've only got one. It's a blue one and the spine's a bit faded, but they did come out in all the colours. So if anyone's got some of those for sale, even an odd one, I'll probably pay like a fiver a cover because I think they must be scarce. But I've probably had them in the past and not bothered too much about them. But ephemera like that is the sort of stuff I really do enjoy. So if anyone watching has got any of that, give us a shout. Now there is another great site, and I've been speaking with the site's curator, Alec, and he runs penguinfirsteditions.com. Now that is an incredible site that's got very, very good in the last year or so, because it lists and photographs every single Penguin publication of a vintage nature, pretty much since Penguin started. It's got lots and lots of obscure stuff like catalogues and stock lists and things like that. So thankfully I have got some stuff it hasn't got, which I'm going to photograph and send over to Alec to add to the site's content. And he's very generously stuck a link back to my videos on there. So I am more than happy to send people Alex's way. So it's penguinfirsteditions.com, and boy oh boy, it's quite an eye-opener. There's some amazing stuff in there, particularly like the bit where they show the Forces book clubs, which is a series I've got a couple of, but it's a bit like the Prisoner of War book service and the services editions. I've got examples of them all, but I haven't got anything like approaching anything like a set. And in fact, as far as I know, I don't know anyone who's got a set of Forces book club titles. I know Joe Pearson has a nice batch, but not all, as far as I know. And there's another chap on Instagram who's got an awful lot of the 120 that were released. I think it was 120. Or was it 144? I can't remember now. I think it was 120. 10 for 12 months. But they are very, very scarce and don't often turn up in nice condition. But they must be out there somewhere. Penguin themselves don't even have a run of them, and they don't exist in the British Library. There's lots of rare paperbacks down. They're just not. They never got saved. Published during the war. Designed to be sent to service personnel overseas. They just haven't survived. So I'm not sure if you've been watching my eBay paperback prices realized videos. They are like, wow, they are some eye-openers. So I do recommend them if you've not watched any of them yet, because every single time I pull some sales together, I'm constantly amazed by what stuff has sold for. So in the most recent video, there were some Doctor Who and Star Trek paperbacks, and there was a Star Trek paperback called A Stitch in Time by Andrew Robinson, who played Garak actually on the show of Deep Space Nine TV series. And it went for $400 for that one. But that did seem to be a one-off, because generally speaking they sell for about $100. But that was just incredible. And some of the Doctor Who books as well were just mind-blowing. And often for the reprints, which are actually scarcer than the first editions. Just bananas money, just can't believe it. But I suppose there's people out there willing to buy them, so things are only worth as much as people are willing to pay. But evidently in the world of Doctor Who, and certainly some Star Trek titles, people are willing to pay decent money. It's funny, I went to Destination Star Trek in Birmingham 2 years ago, just before the pandemic hit off. It was an amazing show. I absolutely loved it. I went with a mate of mine and we saw loads of the stars, and I got to meet a few, including Andrew Robinson, incidentally, and just brilliant. But of all the stalls, only one of them had some new and old books on, and I was a bit disappointed by that, considering how big Star Trek books are. Even, amazingly, there was no bookshop with all the pocket books that are in print. I mean, just couldn't believe it, you know. I thought Pocket themselves would have bothered to have a stand, but, you know, with thousands and thousands of Star Trek fans coming through the door. But no, there was one store which had some of the newer ones. I think the new Picard book had just been printed at that point, and there were some Trek authors there. Uma McCormick was there. Very interesting panel with her. Wish I'd picked up a couple of signed books by her, but next time, I think. Although the next destination Trek is in London, and that's much harder to get to for me. Birmingham is a bit easier because it's a straight road, and you know, you can be up and down in a day if you want to. But it was still cool to see all those cast members there, and getting to meet William Shatner was a real joy. Quite a bit of dust on these, actually. So yeah, so I'm thinking I may, I don't want to, but I may, if time, you know, if I'm during this little transition phase, if I have to drop to just temporarily 2 videos a week, don't panic, Captain Mannering, because it will only be on a temporary basis just until things get back to normal. But at the moment, I'm still managing to stay a few weeks ahead of what's going out, and that's all that matters, to keep my patrons getting their new videos early, which is what they're paying for, alongside supporting the channel, and also keeps me out of mischief. I'm not trying to hurriedly just put some content together just to get something out. If it ever got to that stage, I'd just stop filming until I've got decent quality stuff, you know. Right, well, we're well over halfway now. There's not much left to go. So I'm just going to rearrange the camera once more and get ready for the last lot. We'll do the Star Trek books next. Right then, well, I don't expect these Star Trek books to take much because I know where they've come from. And I know my friend Chris and his daughter Juliet are huge fans of keeping their collections really, really nice condition, and they've sort of adopted some of the techniques that they've seen on the channel, and that is super cool. So I know that these books are going to be in super nice shape, so I really don't need to do much on them. I'm just giving them like a cursory once over, but I just don't think they need it. These are just superb. That's almost brand new, isn't it? I mean, so very, very, very pleased with these. Obviously this next one, I don't want to clean that one at all because it's signed on the front, isn't it, by that actress, so I'm going to just leave that one. It's the Superman story. So these videos, these cleaning videos, and my sort of eBay videos do get quite a lot of views, and it would be nice if through one of my viewers, potentially I could find some of these missing books that I've been after. So as I said earlier, Edge book 60 in the series is one I am very, very much looking after because it will finish the set. And I don't want to pay silly money for it, but I'll pay maybe £15, something like that. I think that's a 15 to 20 if it's mint, you know. So that's what I am looking for. There are some other things as well though, so what I might do is put together a little wanted page, and maybe you could just I'll pop a little link on, and it'll just take you to a page where it's got all the books that I'm after at the moment, just to complete current series and things like that. And then maybe if you have a little look at it, you never know, you might find some stuff that I'm after. And maybe it's a service we could open up to other people. So if you're after an odd book here or there, you know, maybe it could become a bit of an exchange. But the thing is, there are dedicated groups for all sorts of paperbacks these days. And if you are after anything, you can often find it online. So I don't know, maybe we don't need to do it, but just an idea. So the other thing I've just finished editing yesterday was Viewer Collections Part 1. It was quite an eye-opener, so I've probably got enough video for Viewer Collections Parts 2 and 3. Well, I say video, but predominantly pictures. One chap did send me video footage of his collection. However, I'm after some more because I'd like the videos to be quite balanced and not all sort of, you know, too heavy in one particular subject. So I am open to some more submissions. So if you'd like to share your collection, have a look at that first video, which will be going live probably either it'll already be out or it'll be out next week after this one's gone out. Have a look, see what other people are doing. And then if you'd like to get in on the action of sharing your collection with potentially thousands of people online who will not judge you much, then do email me at julesburt@gmail.com, and I'll definitely feature every single entry eventually that I get will be featured. Oh, one thing I didn't do with these, of course, was do the old top edges, so I better just do that now. Although once again, I'm not expecting much because these have come from a collector who I know takes particular care of his books. And in fact, his collection, Chris's collection of Star Trek books, is featured as the very first collection in the collections video. So you'll get to see Chris's incredible collection of Star Trek books in much more detail very soon, because it's an eye-opener and a half, I tell you. It's an absolute dream if you're into Star Trek books. It's just everything. And not just everything, but everything really, really well presented and well lit. It just looks fantastic. And I think if you're into Trek books, you'll be very jealous in a good way. So just have one more little old pile to go through now, which is the rest of the Johnny Harts. So I'll get those up in front of me. That's all the Trek books done. So it's funny, I've been on YouTube now for over 2 years, 2 and a bit years. In fact, 2.5 years now, actually, thinking about it. So where's the time gone, eh? And yeah, I'm absolutely delighted with how it's all been going. So we have to think about where it's going to go next. Well, I don't think it's going to go anywhere next. I'm absolutely fine with where we are at the moment, and I really don't have any more plans for any sort of expansion at all beyond getting the studio up and running. I think if we can get that done, that is literally all we're going to do, and I shall be absolutely delighted to get that done, and we'll just keep plodding along as is. I'm not trying to chase any sort of targets or anything like that. I just want to enjoy sharing the books with you now. That's all I really am interested in, and my other stuff as well. You know, I'd definitely like to do some more Doctor Who coverage, and my old business partner George, he's got a phenomenal collection of Doctor Who stuff and comics and records and all sorts of things. A really knowledgeable collector, has offered to lend me some stuff to film on the channel, so hopefully I'll have some great stuff to show you down the line. It's really just a matter of meeting up with George and getting it organised, really. But we've got a few ideas of what I would like to cover, and I think it would be really nice to see some of it, so we'll see what happens there. But generally we're in quite a nice little routine at the moment, where I've got monthly videos for cleaning and pickups, monthly videos for eBay. I try and do a pan video a month, pan books, a penguin video or two a month. You're getting 8 to 10 shorts a month, and I try and pepper in my retro gaming stuff as time allows. I have recently received a new console. It's a new little handheld called the PAL Kitty X17. It's a really powerful little handheld, which is great, and I've been really enjoying it. And but I'm still sort of going through the review process and adding my games to it. But that review will be coming out quite soon, and that's going to be pretty cool. So I've still got some more retro game stuff to do. And in the early next year, the Valve Steam Deck is on its way. That's another little handheld which I'm looking forward to, and I shall be doing lots of retro game coverage on that one. I've got mine pre-ordered. I did, through my work, try and get a new Samsung Fold, but sadly they haven't got any for employees at the moment, because the handset's brand new. But I'm going to wait a little while, and then if I can get the Samsung Fold, because the new version does look very good, I shall give that one a try. But this has turned into a much longer video than I thought it was going to be. I think it's because these BC books and Wizard of Id turned into a bit more of a job cleaning wise than I actually envisaged, because there's just so many of them. But we're almost there. There's about 10 to go, so, and they don't need a lot, so we're almost there. So one thing I would like to do, I think I might start doing, is sort of question and answers. So while I'm doing these cleaning videos, it would be good if I had some questions that you've sent in that maybe I can answer while I'm doing the cleaning. So if you've got any burning questions that you wouldn't mind, you'd like me to answer while we're doing this would be a good time to do it, wouldn't it? But I think most of you know my sort of history. When I was in my very early 20s, I opened up a collector's shop with my business partner George called Purple Haze, and we sold records and comics and books and Star Wars toys and other toys and memorabilia and movie memorabilia. And we did that for about 8 years as a store. Then we were online for a couple of years. Then I sort of joined Waterstones as a bookseller and went on to become a manager of a few shops and then a buyer, a regional buyer. Then I got into the world of technology and I worked for Carphone Warehouse for a while and Curry's. And now I'm with EE in the UK at present, but not in the shops. Right, almost there. Last little batch. But yeah, so my time with Waterstones was very interesting and obviously got to meet lots of authors and pick up lots of books that I still have to this day. But for this sort of channel, the stuff that I did in the shop with Purple Haze was a real dream period, really. It was always a dream of mine to own like a comics drug collectible store. And I think, often wonder if we had to sort of shut down from the location we've been for years because there was a new shopping centre being built and all the businesses had to get out. And at the time there just wasn't room. But I often wonder if that hadn't have happened and we knocked on the head when we did, what, you know, would we still have a shop? I mean, it was going great right up until when we shut. But, you know, things are different. You know, we've got the internet now and the sort of stuff that we bought and sold in the store was the sort of stuff that was being bought and sold online all the time, like Star Wars stuff and books and, you know, collectibles and that, comics. So, you know, it is what it is. It's progress. It may not be so much fun, but, you know, like the second-hand bookshops that people are moaning are disappearing at a rate. Well, it's true. It's progress and there's nothing we can do about it. We've said multiple times on the channel that we support, and I know you guys all do support your independent bookshops, and I know you support your second-hand bookshops as well. And that's really all we can do, isn't it? You know, and if sadly they can't make a living at it, well, it is just the way of the world. So, we're just about there. As we come to a close now, let me just give these last few a bit of a polish and then we'll do the lids with the old toothbrush of destiny, which, as we know, is been through a bit of action of late. Oh, there is actually something else I've just started, which you may want to get a little jump on, and that's the Corgi Collectors Club. So they've been re-releasing some classic Corgi cars, and I'll try and pop up a couple of pictures now in the editing stage, and you can get the first couple for just $9.99, and they're exact replicas of classic 50s, 60s and 70s Corgi cars. And this is UK only, sadly, I'm afraid. But the first one is the Walls Ice Scream Van, and the second one is the Rallying Mini, the classic BMC Mini from the Monte Carlo Rally. And then the next one is, they've released about 7 or so far, so you get them, once you get your first one, you get one a month, and the next one to be sent to me is the Saints Volvo with a little Roger Moore figure inside. And they've also got coming up the classic Aston Martin, James Bond Aston Martin from Goldfinger, that's on its way. So they got some great stuff, and they're all perfect facsimiles. So I'm going to review the first two quite soon on the channel, and then I do encourage you to pick them up because I think you're going to love them. So there you go, there they all are, and quite a little selection this time round. So thank you very much for watching today, and if you've not already, do please hit that subscribe button, and do please watch another one of the videos on screen now. And I shall look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.